Hi everyone, Tanya Hertz here again. I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about motivation, satisfaction, job performance, and leadership. So let's go ahead and take a look at the slides on motivation. In fact, let's see here. I'll pull it up right here. So another factor in motivation is how high a person scores in their achievement orientation. So achievement orientation, it's from McClellan's, Atkinson's proposal that says a person's success, a person's motivation is largely dependent on how predisposed they are to actually achieve success or achievement orientation. This is part of that 5-factor model, the Big Five orientation. And there's some slides, separate slides just on the Big Five personality indicators. And achievement orientation is linked to conscientiousness, and conscientiousness is how conscientious a person is. Tells us, are they the kind of people who do what they say they're going to do and when? These are the kind of people who work very, very hard to make it happen, no matter how tired they are, no matter how what's at stake, they'll make it happen. And this is highly correlated with success. It's one of the key success factors that tells us how well a person will perform at a job, regardless of the job, any job. And this is one of two tests that I give prior to hiring anyone for any job. I give the, and this is outside of other tests, but I give the Big Five personality indicator exam. And then I also test for cognitive ability, because those two factors are the highest predictors of overall future job performance and organizational commitment as well. And so saves a lot of money. So go ahead and take a look at these slides. We have another, like I said, video about this, and see where you sit compared to the general population. And in fact, our homework, you're actually helping to improve the research on the Big Five personality assessments. And so really, when you're taking that as homework assignments, understand that your results are going in towards that study. So all the things that we study in this class and in all your classes are from educators, and you're helping to improve that particular study. Okay, goal setting is also extremely important when we talk about motivation. And from the leader's perspective, goal setting involves setting clear performance targets and then helping your followers to actually create systematic plans to achieve them. So, excuse me, that includes things like, that includes things like we've done in together in the journals, in the planning process. And according to Locke and Latham's studies, goals are the most powerful determinants of task performance. So not overall job performance, but the specific task components of the job performance. And they're so important because goals direct attention. They mobilize efforts. They help people develop strategies for achievement. They help people continue exerting the effort that's necessary to actually reach the goals. So this in turn leads to even higher goals. So there's a lot of research out there that shows that people who score high in conscientiousness tend to set higher goals for themselves and achieve those higher goals, sales goals, performance goals, et cetera, et cetera. So in order for goals to be effective, goals need to be specific and they need to be difficult. So if this is one of those, I don't know if you remember at the very beginning, we said in leadership, oftentimes people think saying like, give it your best, do your best, and setting goals that are easily achievable are actually good. No, we want goals that are difficult, that we actually have to strive to achieve, and a little bit of failure is okay. But we do know that when people fail at a goal, the next time they may not try quite as hard. So that's why it's really important as leaders that if we do set goals that are those kind of stretch goals, that we do what's necessary to help our followers to achieve those goals. And then failure is only, we don't want employees to fail at an entire goal. Little bits of failure along the way within the goal can actually help motivate and help them to stretch to get there. But overall failure of a goal is not a good thing. It, like I said, leads to lower overall performance and can lead to feelings of dissatisfaction. And when they have the chance maybe to take another job, they might just take it, right? So it's very important that our employees are committed to their goals, and how involved the employee is in creating the goal can also have an impact on how motivated they are to achieve it. Just like a child, if you want to get the kid to eat their food, you let them be involved in making the food. The same is true to a certain extent with goals. Participation in the goal setting process is excellent way for them for you to get that buy-in that's necessary for them to be committed. But don't leave it entirely up to the followers, because often they just don't know what they don't know. And so it's your responsibility as a leader to to look at them and to see what they can possibly do, what needs to be done, and what you think they can realistically achieve. But again, have them participate. Followers exerted most effort when the goals were accompanied by feedback. So feedback is it's an important part, but feedback is most effective when it is given at regular intervals and not just at the end of a project per se. At that point, it's almost too late to be effective. Yeah. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Okay. A leader's implicit and explicit expectations about goal accomplishment can affect performance. Okay. This is so important. What we think of our followers is true. What we believe in them will happen. There's some amazing research that was done. I think I told you about the research that was done from the military, where they did several studies, longitudinal studies, where they told the leaders, told their commanders that different groups were either excellent, average, or poor performers. And then just time and again, through several iterations of this test, it was true. The followers would perform exactly the way that the leaders thought that they would perform. So that says a lot about preconceived notions, about why perhaps failure is a self-perpetuating system. In this country, it says things about racism and sexism and all sorts of other things. But as a leader, we know that that's true. You know that that's true now. So expect big things of your followers and then help them to achieve it. They'll achieve it. So the Pygmalion effect occurs when leaders express high expectations about the followers, and then these expectations alone, just the expectations, will lead to higher performing followers and teams. The Golem effect occurs when leaders have very little faith in their followers, and these expectations result in self-fulfilling prophecies and low performance. I've been told for years that I'm expecting too much out of the entrepreneurship students, that I should not have them doing as difficult of assignments that I give them. Same with my management students. years I was told that, and I don't care because I know it's true that they can achieve really huge things, and they do. I don't see any reason why my students can't be starting multi-million dollar high growth ventures, and they do. It happens again and again and again, and I love seeing it, and I know that they can do it, and they do it. And it makes me so happy. All right, so leaders wanting to improve individual team performance should set high but achievable goals, express confidence in their followers, and they will impress you. I promise you. It's an amazing thing to watch. I love it. All right. Excuse me. We talked a little bit about how rewards and punishments, I believe we talked about this, doesn't matter, talking about it now. A popular way to change the direction of motivation and performance is through rewards and punishment. So rewards are any consequence that increases the likelihood that a behavior is going to be repeated. A punishment is the administration of an adverse stimuli or the withdrawal of something good, each of which decreases the likelihood that the behavior will be repeated. These can either be administered in a contingent or non-contingent, so contingent upon them doing something or not contingent, right? Contingent, example of contingent would be praise, awards, bonuses, immediately following something that we want them to do, a particular behavior. Non-contingent would be, still same thing, like a praise, award, whatever, bonus, but it's not necessarily directly linked to a particular behavior. So this might be like paychecks are given regardless of the behavior, and that's a reward, right? Now, it's important to note that when your employees are doing amazing things, when they're doing things that deserve praise and deserve rewards, and they are not getting rewards, you won't see that behavior forever. And that's because you're giving them feedback. Whether or not you realize that, not giving praise, not giving rewards is feedback. And that kind of feedback is called extinction, right? So just like the dinosaurs went extinct, so will your employees' good behavior if it is not rewarded. It doesn't have to be monetary rewards. It doesn't, in fact, monetary rewards usually aren't the best. And I mean, they can be good, but just it's rewards are one of those kind of things that you almost have to do the management one at a time. By that I mean you can look at the aggregate, but certain people want certain things, and so some people can't stand praise because it embarrasses them. But regardless, there needs to be some sort of reward, or extinction will occur. They'll stop doing the good things. So the operant approach, the operant principle. So the operant principle states that to improve your followers' motivation and their performance, it requires several clear steps. So the first is clearly specify what behaviors are important. Determine if those behaviors are currently being punished, rewarded, or extinct, ignored. And then find out what the followers find rewarding and punishing. So this is the managing one at a time. And these, it's important to do, like I said, because each individual values different rewards, finds different things punishing. Be careful about even the impression of inequity or subjectivity or biases when you are tailoring awards to each individual. But the reason is because they're different. From person to person, people can think that you're doing this based on some sort of a subjective metric, like I like this person better. So be really careful about this. Even the perception of inequity, it's the same as being unequal, right? So don't limit yourself to administering just what the organization says is the reward or the punishment, right? So if you've noticed that a pat on the back and an attaboy is not an effective reward for that particular person, do what they want, right? What is it that they want? Do they, is a pizza party the best type of reward? Or, maybe it's something totally different. Maybe they want to go, I don't know, maybe they want an extra hour for lunch, right? Maybe they want time off. Maybe they want to work from home. What do they want? Give them what they want. Yeah. And whenever possible, always try to give your rewards in a contingent manner, right? So there should be a clear, very, just clear as day, simple as can be. Here's the behavior, here's the consequence, and the employees can see the link between the two. When rewards and punishment should be like a hot stove, right? The second that the behavior is exhibited, boom, you get burned, right? You touch the stove, you get burned. You do the good thing, you get the reward, or you do the bad thing, you get that punishment. Right? Okay. So the best motivating method is empowerment, the absolute best. Again, I said this before, I hate saying it, but it's true. Empowering your employees has to be done with the right employees. So it goes back to the hiring process. This goes back to the human resource management and bringing on the right people. If you have employees who are not experienced or not intelligent, chances are it's very difficult to empower them because, a low level of cognitive ability. Usually what they'll do with their autonomy and freedom is they'll slack. So empowerment, two key components to empowerment. Number one, the leaders delegate the leadership, and not just leadership. You don't just delegate tasks, but you delegate the decision-making down to the lowest level possible, and then equip the followers with the resources, skills, knowledge necessary to make the good decisions. So from a macro psychological component, motivation, learning, stress. The micro psychological components are self-determination, meaning, competence, influence. All of these play a key role in empowering employees. And a lot of leaders assume it's easier to change an individual than it is to change the situation or the group, but that's not the case. So restructuring the work processes, the procedures, going back to the systems is typically the best and easiest way to empower employees. This can give them, the latitude to actually make the decisions. It can make their work more challenging, more meaningful, more psychologically fulfilling. And leaders can help the followers work through that initial resistance to the new systems, the new processes and procedures by showing support, by providing training and coaching on new skills that we're asking them to do, and by capitalizing on opportunities to reward that progress. So a leader's actions can and do affect followers' motivations. Leaders should be flexible in the types of interventions they use to motivate. You need to know what the theories are and what works and what doesn't. And don't overlook the interplay between emotions and motivation. And when we're motivating employees, normally we want to do things in management in the aggregate, right? A lot of the time, but rewards, motivation, those are the kind of things that should be done on a much more personal level. And that means you need to know what the employees like, what they value, what's important to them. And success is more likely when leaders are able to address and capitalize on emotions when they are introducing change. So, all right, I'm going to take a little stop here. We're going to actually talk about satisfaction in the next video.